Okay, Ruth. So this is the part I just briefly warned you about where I can't actually see who's joined yet. So as I was saying to you, it's like we're starting a book club and it's pitch black, and then the curtains will be drawn and we'll get to see everyone who's joined us. So if you are here, pop a comment, type a comment, let us know your name and where you're from, so that we can see that you're here. We'll give a little bit of time for people to log on and hope that I don't think any of us have gone into. Okay, here we
Oh,
go.
there's two.
So you can see, there you go. So if you got your chat open, we've got Sue from Matakana, Jennifer Taranaki. Oh, here we go. So okay, this is going to go really fast. So, oh,
Okay. Oh my gosh. Got to put
hi.
my
That's it.
from
So
Nelson,
yeah,
from Huanui,
yeah, and there's Steph from Taranaki who I know.
Christchurch,
There you go.
Wellington.
Welcome, everyone. We'll give another minute just while we sort of enjoy um, the lights going on. Trish Gore.
Gore, that's just down the road,
Queensland,
Australia.
Australia. Nelson Libraries, a group of fans at the library. Wow.
Oh,
That's
wow.
that's awesome. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you would have groups of fans. Ruth and I myself am a fan too, but we'll definitely get into that. Um, you
I
did
can
ask
ask
who
some.
is here. Do you regret it
Oh,
now?
wow.
No, I'm getting actually. This is my second go at hosting, so I'm getting quite good at the split, the multitasking, which we all know. Some of us are better at than others. I'm going to give also a caveat to all of you joining that I don't normally, if this is the first Libby reads with me that you've come to, that I don't normally sound like this, but I
There's
have
31 people.
yeah. So there, and there'll be more. There'll be more to come as well. Yeah, I am battling a virus that has attacked my vocal cords, which is great when you're hosting a book club. Mm. This isn't vodka, this is water. So I'm sure we'll get through it together. And again, for those of you who didn't join us last time, you'll get the chance to ask questions. You just type in your questions, and what I asked last time, and I think it worked really well, is when you're asking a question, if you attach an emoji, it doesn't matter what the emoji is, it doesn't have to match your question, no pressure. Just so I know that I can sort of identify that it's a question by seeing something like bright and shiny next to your words. Okay. Welcome,
Wow.
everybody, and welcome, Ruth, who you said you were like always like amazed that it works. Well, it
Yeah,
definitely
I know.
it definitely works, and we're all really I know we're all really excited to have you for an hour. So tell us where are you dialing in from? Where is this? What is in your background there, Ruth?
Oh, this is my office, but it's also where I keep all the extra books,
Oh,
my double
nice.
ups for the bookshop. This is usually jam-packed full of books, but because I'm
Mm-hmm.
closing on the 19th, it's fairly empty. And over here, there's two of my very junky libraries. I've got 7 libraries in the house. Um,
Okay, 3 bookshops, 7 libraries. Okay.
and so this
Mate.
is actually our spare bedroom, but it is really now has been my office for many years.
Oh yeah, well my spare bedroom is not quite as many books and only one sort of library in my house. Although there are books all over the house. Although I have a new puppy, so I've had to shift everything up to a different level because she tried to eat the Delta of Venus by Anais and then yesterday. And I'm like, I don't want you to eat that. I just,
Right. There was a
she's good.
question about why I'm closing on the 19th.
Yes. So do you want to? I was going to ask you that too. Take it away.
Well, I am 80 in June, and I have promised myself and Lance that I would semi-retire at the age of 80. So I have sold the bookshops, which is
How's that
a
breaking
sad,
news? Yeah,
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 sad and happy.
yeah.
Thank you, Celia.
Yeah, someone
Um,
gets that. Yeah.
so a lady from Manapuri has bought them, who's a great reader, and the little shops will be moving, but they're just moving around the corner. And um, so the buildings are going, the books are going, and I'm going to be helping her a little bit. But
A little bit.
yeah, yeah, no, just a little bit because she's got some really good ideas. She's younger than me. She's got lots of enthusiasm and she's taking the staff with her. So it is it is the best really that because the bookshops belong in Manapuri, so I'm really pleased about that. Yeah.
Hmm. And they always will belong to you. But if I think about one of the themes that runs through your books is the art of letting go as well. Like something that I really took from reading all of your many adventures and stories and the animals you've lost and the people and the loves, the opportunities and the life that you've lived. There's a real art to letting go that I think we could spend, that we could spend a whole hour talking about how you've finessed that art, but I'm sure we'll get to some questions that touch on that. And I think the comments here are really reflective of how much you mean to people like, oh no, but also congratulations, that's amazing.
Well,
They,
I've got a um I've got the seed of a plan because as I said, I'm only semi-retiring and I cannot imagine my life without books.
no,
So I have got this little plan that I'm working on. Lance and I are thinking of buying a camper van, and I'm going to have built a little trailer that is going to be a bookshop on wheels that we will
amazing. Yep.
tow around.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'll just open it when I feel like it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have a friend of mine in the States that does that, a little sort of mobile bookstore that she takes around in a trailer. It's gorgeous. I love that idea. A mobile bookshop. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you'll have to bring it over on the ferry and come to the North Island. Your decision takes courage. Lots of respect for your decision. From Nolene Kia kaha. Yeah, that's it. But then you have courage in spades. And I think all of us who have been lucky enough to share in your story know that. If you come to Taranaki, you can park at our place. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah,
Yes, isn't that
and
lovely?
and at mine too. Um, Gosh, I feel like I'm not going to have there's not going to be any pauses in the conversation tonight, but I did want to say, and I don't want to embarrass you, but I just firstly want to say thank you, not only Ruth, not only for being here tonight, but I've been thinking a lot about this, I've been living in your world the last few days. It takes a lot of courage to find your voice, but not everyone who finds their voice uses that voice, and that's okay. Finding your voice is its own journey, but you've actually shared that gift with us, and you've used the strength that comes from telling your own story to liberate others really, and whether that's the way that your books have found their way into women's refuges into women's jails, but also just found their way into men and women's hearts around the country and around the world. Is it something like 16 languages now
20,
that you
20 languages.
bloody hell, well, I just swear a bit
I
on
know.
this, like
Don't say
20 languages. That's incredible. Do you have a favorite? But like as in a because they're yeah, is there a favorite cover or sort of or a translation
I
with
don't, wait on. I'll show you a really strange cover.
okay.
Um, it is the weirdest cover, but there's also some beautiful covers. Like that's a nice
Mm. It's actually
orange is a nice cover.
it's so exciting, isn't it, when you see the interpretation from another culture and country and
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
So this one is Italian, and this is beautiful. I love this one.
Oh, me too. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's really nice. This one is Taiwanese, and that's quite lovely.
Oh, that's gorgeous. It's similar, like it's a bit, yeah.
I'm leaving the worst one till last.
Okay, excellent.
And then um, South. South Korea have done all of
All
my
the
books, but
yeah,
this
and
one's
the dog.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, with all the
And
dogs.
this is the Turkish one. Wait till you see this.
Oh, wow. It's
Like, I don't think the artist
it's like
read my book.
it feels a little bit like the murder at the end of the world kind of bookstore
Yeah,
types. And it's
it's
got it's striking at least.
yeah, but
The
um,
artist has never been to New Zealand
it's
to
a
get something like
four-story building
well,
surrounded by dead trees. Yeah, but
which is
anyway,
not entirely representative or in
no.
there of you. That's isn't it? That's so fascinating. Someone just said that they would travel the world to get those 20 copies, and I actually think they should. Molly, is it
No.
you? Go on, Molly. That seems like the kind of thing you would have done, Ruth, when you'd be like, oh, like I'll go on an adventure and pick up a copy of a book in each
Yeah.
of these
If
places.
there's somebody just said that their friend in South Korea has read all my books. The publisher in Korea, her name is Pling. She actually came to my bookshop and started talking, an absolutely fabulous lady. And she went back to South Korea and she emailed me and said, I'd like to ring you. So we rang and she said, I'm thinking of starting a publishing company if you will let me publish your book. And she started the publishing company for my first book.
Wow.
And then she did my second book and now my third book. And she's been over here twice and she's publishing New Zealand authors.
That's incredible.
I know.
Wow. And there's a kind of there's something about you, Ruth, and I said I didn't want to embarrass you, so I'm not going to gush, but there's something about the way you gather people together or people come to you actually, and there is really unique. And I wanted to know if you have some stories from your childhood that you've shared with us. But I want to know, were you always like that? Were you always sort of the person that other kids gathered around? Or were you busy marching to the beat of your own drum, and some followed and like
As a child, I
yeah.
was, um,
And I mean like primary school child.
yeah, primary school. I was always in trouble.
Yeah.
Um, and um, I only had a couple of friends. I was very, uh, well, I went to a convent and the nuns were always threatening me to send me to the priest because I wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
written a little bit about that in my next
Yeah.
book
Oh,
that, um,
in your next book, but okay, we'll flag that for to come back to. Carry
because
on.
you've got a next book as well.
Yes, eventually. Yes. It's coming. We can talk about
Good.
the process. But yeah, so you get in trouble for talking too much and
And asking too many questions.
uh
And yeah, I think a lot of writers ask questions, and I've always asked masses of questions.
yeah.
And um, so the when I was in primary school, the sister would say, "Yes, Ruth." It was this, not again. Yes, Ruth. Or put your hand down, Ruth. We've heard
Yeah.
from you today.
But it didn't deter you. Obviously.
No.
I absolutely love that. You okay, next you know what? We're just gonna go to next book because you dropped it in there. I'm like I had that was my very last question of like
Oh, was
what
it?
it was like you've written there were more bookshops, or are there more books? So what can you tell us about the next book? What are you allowed to tell us, or what will you tell us
Well, I
anyway?
can tell you that there's a children's book coming out in October, which is about the little female seal pup that was shot in at Milford. It's a true story.
Oh yeah, the one with between the
And
forehead.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so and we raised her in our backyard. So I've written a children's book about that, and the artist's work is absolutely amazing. And
Amazing.
I'm writing a book that'll come out sometime next year if it's good enough. Um, I'm.
Mhm.
Do you feel that too, that you do a lot of writing and you think, God, that's nowhere near good enough?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in that. I'll be honest because you're so beautifully honest that I'm in that era of my writing career right now. I mean, I'm working on something that I know could be. I know what it could be, but I for many reasons I can't quite get it there right now. So it happens. I feel like it can happen at any stage of your career, but certainly the first book, which is such a surprise. I take it was a lovely surprise for you, and it was for me as well. And then the second book is a little more work, and then the third book, and so on. It's like it's kind of it's a job now, right? It's a
Yes,
job, and like
it
any job,
is.
you have days where you're really nailing it, and other days where you're like, what was I thinking that I could do this? So yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
but you always can. It just takes going, you just go back to it and leave it, go back to it. And
Yeah,
depends, depends on the deadline who's waiting for it. But sometimes a little bit of time away from your own words is the best way to
it is.
yeah, corral them again. So well that's exciting. So we've got children's book with but then another memoir coming,
Well, it's kind
kind
of.
of. Because I was going to ask if you'd considered fiction. Uh,
No, I don't know
Um,
what I'd write about. And yet
well,
I read a lot of fiction.
you do, yeah.
Well, I have to read fiction for the bookshop because people say, can you recommend a book? And so I read lots of books, and most of them, if I didn't have a bookshop, I wouldn't read. But
Right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I have to read this book because I know that people are going to ask about it. So I read a lot of fiction, but in fact, I would like to read other things.
Hmm.
Um, it's interesting. People will come into the bookshop, and if there's anybody here that's got a bookshop and or
Anybody
even
here?
a librarian, then so many people come in and say, um, I would like you to suggest something. And if you haven't read a lot of books, then how can you make a suggestion?
Yeah, although as you sort of pepper throughout your books, the suggestions that you make to people, like that, whether it's a traumatized fireman from Australia, or I don't know, I'm just going to make this one up, but like a Scotsman coming off the moors, the books that you will recommend him, like, wow, yeah, you always know the perfect book for a person, but these aren't a couple of the titles I recognize, and you talk about maybe something like Jonathan. I always get this wrong. So I always want to
Jonathan
the
Livingston
Livingston
Seagull.
Seagull. I always want to say Jonathan Seaston, Living Skull. Like, yeah, yeah, that book. I recognize, but so many of them, like the depth of knowledge that you have and the matchmaking that you do, made me want to. And I won't put you through this exercise now, but made me want to show up and say, me, like, what have you got for me? Like tell me, what matches me. I'm just checking comments because they started off really strong, and then I was wondering if I'd buggered something up. But no, I can see Sue's just come up with messages. So just reminded everyone, any questions that you want to ask uh, Ruth, take it away. This is as much about you asking the questions as it is about me finding out all the things that I want to know, and about Ruth and I talking about this odd little career that we have, one of many that you've had. Tell me, how does writing compare as a career to some of the other jobs that you've had in your life? Not, and not all of them have been easy. But yeah, how does it compare in terms of like making sense, I suppose, and getting your head around it.
I actually love the solitude of it.
Oh,
And it was very much like when I was solo sailing,
mm,
that the solitude of being alone, relying on yourself, and hopefully making the right decisions. And I kind of have picked that up when I'm writing, that I like to be alone.
mm,
I don't like to be disturbed. And well, I always used to have Cove the dog, but sadly, Cove
mm,
had to be put down. And knowing that what you write is very important as far as the power of words go, and you don't want to offend people. So it's very similar as um, having to trust yourself and uh, making sure you are giving the best to your reader. When you're at sea by yourself, you've got to give your best, otherwise, you could go over the side or whatever.
mhm.
But when I'm writing, I frequently think of my readers. Um, the
Yeah.
woman in the rest home, White Rabbit. Oh,
Right,
yeah.
right. The
It was about,
spy. Yeah.
yeah, that
Did you?
was, it was incredible.
Had
Yeah.
you, yeah, I guess that question is, and as a reminder for people, had you already had an inkling that there was something about her? She had some issues like deformities with her thumbs or a
Yeah.
nail, didn't she? And I don't know, was
Yeah.
that
She
some a
never told
subtle?
me, but,
No.
and I had a feeling that there was something, she had done something during the war that was pretty special, but she didn't want to talk about it. And so
Hmm.
we never did. And except for that very last day. And yeah, it was incredible because the other nurses said, that she was quiet and she didn't really talk and she kept to herself and all that. And then I would have loved to have been there for another month to find,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, the stories that the ellipses of that story. Like I was like, no, there will be a bit. There'll be another like an addendum, and you'll have found out like that who she was, and she
yes,
like a mouse type character. But no, so that story remains unwritten, except that you were able to shine a little bit of a light on,
yes,
yeah, like just this person. I mean, it makes me think like I had this had made me laugh a little bit, but it like in the best way. On page 29 of your first book, Bookseller at the End of the World, first published books, it said you'd given a speech and you quote yourself where you said you don't have to have an exciting or drama-filled life to have a story. And that's something that I as a fiction writer, I agree with. I try to find the sort of the heightened reality, but in the normal everyday life of people, and then something happens to throw them out of that. But for you, you have had the most exciting life, and often drama filled for better or worse, for better and worse, actually. And do, do you think on some level? Did you always know you would? So you mentioned you used to get in trouble and you used to ask the questions. But for example, with me, I always say my Barbies never got married. My Barbie dolls, my Barbies never got married. And that was like they never did. They were always off. They were running off to New York or doing like, or I don't know, joining Captain Von Trapp on stage or something like that. I just, part of me knew that I wasn't going to take a particular, travel a particular path. So I wonder if it's the same with you.
no.
Mm.
I I never really know where my life is going to go. The only constant in my life at the moment is the bookshops, number one
Mhm.
home street, and my husband.
Mhm.
But even so, so many things happen in my life that I never really know where they come from. Or Lance says I attract trouble, but
Define
I went
trouble, lads.
I went to Germany for a book tour,
As you
and
do.
it was absolutely amazing. But just a few things happened. You know, every time I travel, something happens.
Uh-huh.
And I can't go through Dubai because I was arrested in Dubai, as you know in that
Hmm.
book.
Hmm.
And so I was going through Singapore, but then I ended up going through Shanghai. And I got in trouble in Shanghai.
Oh.
I've written about it in my book, but coming back, so I got into trouble going over, and then coming back, I was writing.
And this is only
And
recently then. So
yeah,
this is
this
in
is
the
last
last.
November, and I've written about this as well. And my glasses fell down by the seat. And you know how they say, if you lose your glasses,
Don't.
press the bell and they'll come
Yeah.
and save you, blah, blah. So anyway, I went and got one of the hostesses and she said, oh, that's all right, we'll find it. Well, they pulled the whole seat apart. So it kind of is all Velcroed and underneath is all the mechanism. And they couldn't find my glasses. And they said, well, when we get to no, we came back via Singapore, we will get an engineer to look for them. And I thought, oh God, you know, why has this happened? They
Uh-huh.
say that they'll be able to find your glasses. They couldn't
Yeah.
find my glasses.
There's
So
only
we
so
get
far
there.
they could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get there and there's an engineer waiting. And I I said to them, look, don't worry. I've got a spare pair at home. But they did worry and they pulled the whole seat apart and they didn't find my glasses. And I didn't have them. I pulled everything out and I didn't have them. And so these things just kind of happen. Lance
Hmm.
says, I think you make them happen, love. I said, well, how do I make that happen?
Yeah. Or if you go, you.
And then when we were going through Singapore, they thought I was smuggling drugs in my big coat. And
This is how I this is
how
how
did
I
that
felt
happen?
reading your book. This is how I felt reading your book. I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Well,
Yeah.
shouldn't they? So this is recent again. They thought you were smuggling,
Well,
like
I had a big heavy coat on because it was cold.
not unusual.
Um, I had a light coat on when I left Queenstown because it was
Uh-huh.
warm, but I
Yes.
carried my big heavy winter coat because it was -7 when I was going to land in Frankfurt.
Mm.
And the guy in Singapore decided that there were drugs hidden in my coat. And I thought, this is crazy, you know. Here's this old woman. I explained to him why I needed my coat, my big heavy coat, and he wouldn't accept it. And he kept on putting it through the screening thing, and then he pulled the waist tie out and was feeling it all. And I thought, oh God, you know, and so I didn't make that happen.
No.
Things like this happen to me all the time. And Lance just says, oh, another chapter for your book.
Uh-huh. Perhaps maybe I don't know what your I mean I know you grew up Catholic and I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are or or whether you believe in there's some kind of little gremlin sometimes just having fun with you like let's see what we can get Ruth to do next, let's see if we can make her crack because I in the and someone mentioned before in the comments and yes she is like a one woman reality TV series or actually like when somebody's written a television series about their most exciting fictional character ever, because you're actually this embodiment of yeah, of the most of a character really, Ruth, as well as obviously or the most authentic person that we know. Yeah,
Lovely of you to say.
your trip to Russia was that just and going back though, you went back. You go back for more and just not being able to go through Dubai. Is are there moments where you do and because it's only happened again recently in Singapore, lose like, uh-oh, this is I'm not going to be able to pull a rabbit out of my hat this time? Or have you learned to trust the process of getting into that kind of trouble.
I'm very, very lucky that when something is happening, I stay calm, except of course when I was strip searched in Dubai, that's when I fell apart. But I
Yeah.
usually stay calm and try and think it through. And then after it's all over and I'm by myself, I usually either burst into tears
Mm.
or I go, fuck, 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 fuck.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't laugh, and if you don't swear and lose
How the
it,
hell did that happen?
yeah, and still keep happening. I mean, maybe there's, something in your file. Did you ever find out what happened in Dubai, or do you think it was to do with
I
so
think it
getting
was to do
detained
with,
to with
yeah,
Dimitri?
I'm absolutely sure because um, he was very anti-Putin and
Yeah.
openly so. And he had lost his businesses to Putin when Putin came back in.
Mm.
And there was an underground newspaper that he was involved with. And so we are quite sure that, um, he knew he was being watched and he knew his telephone and his computer was hacked. We had to be ever so careful when he rang up
Mm.
or when we spoke on a Zoom meeting or something.
And because
Um,
you met Dimitri, just to remind readers, you met him, he chartered your boat.
yes, yes.
And so roughly what year was that? So, how long ago? Well, we weren't still obviously in the Cold War, so
At
I know,
least, at
yeah,
least, at least 25, 28 years ago when
yeah,
we
okay,
first met him.
yeah. So Putin was on the up, and hard to
Yeah.
believe. And we obviously won't go too far into that tonight, but hard to believe he's still around, messing things up, along with his other
Yes,
mates.
for sure it was due to your friendship with the Russian man.
Then, yeah,
Yeah.
coming
Thank
from
you,
the middle.
May.
May, I think, asked before if you had, I think you did, May, if there was an Arabic translation. Have you had
Yes.
and which country did that come out of? Because I know there's Saudi
Well, I'm
Arabia.
not sure, but it is in Arabic. And I was really
Beautiful.
surprised because I didn't think it'd be the type of book that they would want women to read.
Do you
So,
know, I think my first book, Before You Knew My Name, hasn't come out yet, but we have an Arabic translation too, out of Saudi Arabia, I think, because they have the second biggest publishing of Arabic books after maybe Egypt. And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm just going to admit that I felt like I was really surprised and so heartened and excited that women in particular would get to read these books. And there's a few countries that I get translations from where I donate the money that comes from the publisher to some kind of cause. For example, my Russian translation went to a Ukrainian dog charity. Things like that.
good.
Just
Yeah,
things that
that's
you can
brilliant.
things that you can do to make sure your book gets in front of people who might not otherwise get to see it, but not necessarily profit from some
No.
yeah state-owned state-owned media or something like that. But again, that's a whole other conversation. You have had that is an understatement, quite the exciting life over the years, Ruth, and it seems like it is still continuing. um you mentioned before about you might go away sometimes and have a cry after something, but you've coped very well throughout. And I was thinking, you really got me thinking about the word resilient, which is, I think, a word that initially someone like me would go to use about a woman like you. So, and people and what I hope to be when I go through stuff. I want to be resilient, but there's also a connotation, I think, with resilience that it's connected to stoicism, and that you don't necessarily fall apart, that if you're resilient, you basically can handle things better or less emotionally than others.
Yes.
And that is not me. And from what I'm learning about you, that is mercifully, blessedly not you either. So I wondered if there was a better word than resilient that you've used about yourself, or that you like to use for your spirit, your character, and your spirit, and how you survive and thrive these adventures, thrive through these adventures. Not to put you on the spot.
Well, I just I keep on saying to people that I'm just Ruth.
Mhm.
I don't want to be anything special or put on a pedestal in any way.
Mhm.
And I have, I know I've got strength of character,
Mhm.
and I will not be intimidated. And I think that when I think back, I think after I was raped, I made a very, very clear decision that no man would ever threaten me again
Mhm.
and that I would stand up to them. And it has proven to be very worthwhile for me because I'm short,
Mhm.
I'm small, and quite frequently I'm the shortest. And if I go to a council meeting, I'm the shortest. And they always say, sit down, Ruth. And I say, no, I'm going to stand because otherwise you won't be able to see me. And I I plan what I'm going to do and say, and quite often I don't stick to the script.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing something, I study it thoroughly because as a
Mhm.
conservationist, you have to know your facts.
Mhm.
And it got to the point when we were fighting for the new
Mhm.
sewage scheme in Te Anau and Manapuri, that the mayor was ringing me up and saying, what do you think about this, Ruth? And I was saying, well, I'm not an engineer. But what I
Mhm.
was doing about every third night was I was talking to this amazing engineer over in America who dealt with small communities putting together sewage schemes.
Mhm.
And I'd spend about 2 hours with him. And
Yeah.
so I learned all this stuff and I just take copious notes. And so I said to Gary, the mayor, why isn't your
Why are
bloody
you doing that?
engineer doing this?
Uh-huh.
Because he'd say, well, what do you think about this, Ruth? And I'd say, well, there's blah, blah, blah. And he'd say, well, where'd you hear about that from? And I'd tell him, I said, get your engineer to contact him. So I think because I have an inquiring mind
Mhm.
and I'm a reader, if I decide to do something, I read copious amounts about it. I do a lot of research. And so when I present it, I'm not scared to be questioned.
Which a lot of, we find a lot of, especially in the political space, a lot of people are scared to be questioned, or to be wrong, or to have, the ability to change their minds on something.
Yes.
Um, that is a skill, I guess, pride and something that thing that happens in your chest when you're challenged. A lot of people kind of triumph over that sort of tightness, that tightness in the. I used to be very hard to believe, but very righteous as a young woman, and now I'd rather be informed than righteous, and
Yeah.
righteous,
Being
maybe,
informed
yeah,
is very,
righteously
very
informed.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Which leads really nicely into something I really wanted to talk to you about. I loved learning about monkey wrenching. I understood the phrase as soon as I saw it, but I hadn't encountered that. And I'd really loved the quote from John Lewis, the American civil rights leader, the get in good trouble, necessary trouble. So like, I'm always, when I saw the lots of firemen protesting the other day. And I stopped. I was like, how can I help? Who can I yell at? Who can I write to? What trouble can I make? What good trouble can I make? But I see a lot of people shy away from that. It's kind of the old joke about like, I'll be the one who ruins the dinner party by being at the end of the table. Like, well, actually, so I wanted to ask you as a lifelong activist about the art of monkey wrenching and any advice that you have for those of us who are so inclined and how we might, in this day and age, like how we might throw a spanner in the works from time to time.
Well, at the moment, Lance is trying to stop me to write to Shane Jones.
Oh. Do it.
he has been very critical of anybody that's got any inkling about what the environment's about. Um, he only last week he said that we're inclined to make him vomit. He said some atrocious things.
Who's
And
we, as in you, who?
as the
Oh,
people that fight for the
environmentalists. Oh, yeah,
environment and the Green
conservationists.
Party,
Yeah. Hmm.
and they call, and, and we like spider. No, he said we love snails. That's right. And so I thought, when he said that he feels like vomiting because of how we stand up for ourselves, I thought I'm going to write to him and ask him for a public apology and just write down all the things that have really offended me.
Hmm.
And Lance said, "Love, you're just asking for trouble." But I said, why are we letting him get away with this?
Hmm.
He is,
Need to
and I'm
say
sure
nothing.
there's some national people. Oh, please write to him.
Right to him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on, everybody who's like, like put a clap
Um,
emoji if she thinks she should write the letter.
I- he's so righteous and he uses big words and
Mm,
he's supposed to be for the people, but he always speaks down to people. And
mm,
so I thought, um,
mm,
I would ask him for a public apology for everybody that loves the environment and invite him down and say, I would really like to invite you down and have a public meeting where I'm very willing to debate you. I
mhm,
know he'll say no,
mhm.
but Lance is saying, no, love, no, that this could blow up. And yeah, but anyway, so that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I think
Well,
exactly what she said. He's obnoxious, he's
mhm.
horrible, and yeah. Anyway,
I guess that's the thing with the monkey wrenching and the good trouble as you weigh up what might this cost me? But what might this cost me to say nothing versus what also needs to be taken into account, what might this cost me to say something? Because obviously then if you really want to have a conversation with that person, you've got to be sure of it, don't you? Or
yes, you
a
do. But
conversation. Like,
the whole thing is that there's a lot of people that would like to speak out, but because of their situation in life or the situation in their family, they can't.
hmm.
And so when you have the freedom like I do, a lot of my family don't agree with what I do and say. Um,
And where would you say that freedom, essentially, what is that freedom rooted in? Like, where does it come from? Is it a combination of age and stability and your knowledge? Or what, for you, saying that you have the freedom to speak out, where does that freedom live
I've
in you?
always felt it.
You've always felt
I've
it.
always felt that freedom. I've always felt that. One thing my father said is if you're going to say something, make sure it's true and make sure you will put your name to it. So when
Hmm.
people put a letter in the paper and it has anonymous, I
Yeah. And
think it means nothing, that letter
yeah,
then. So
yeah.
I've always I've always made sure my I have my facts right and I always put my name to it.
Hmm.
And so that gets me in all sorts of trouble. When I was fighting for some trees here, I came home one night and there was a bullet sitting on my doorstep.
Wow.
And Lance was quite upset because he was at sea and I was home by myself a lot. But I had a feeling who it was. And then that night I got a phone call and it was heavy, heavy breathing.
And these are people from your town,
Yeah,
right?
well,
This is about the
in that book,
foreshore and
that
yeah, yeah.
they took the petition out to march me out of town. And so I just very publicly said, that you're really a pack of wimps. None
Hmm.
of you will come and talk to me on a one-to-one, but you're all ganging up and
Hmm.
hoping somebody will take the lead. And I'm not scared of you. I think it's wonderful being called a maverick.
Yeah. And does that sometimes mean that you are scared, but you're gonna just not let yourself continue to be scared?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's an
Absolutely.
important distinction, isn't it? To say like kind
Yeah,
of the generic statement, feel the fear and do it anyway, but that kind of does sum it up. Like the
it does.
idea that brave people don't feel, yeah, that chest tightening and the heart pattering, like
Yeah,
like you do, right? But then you say, well, this too bad, like too bad. I got to get out there and I've got to
yeah,
stand up for what I believe
absolutely.
in. It's a it's difficult, it's hard, and I want to know how you take care of yourself. And the question that I'd written down was about excavating some pretty intense experiences and memories for your books, but also it applies to your activism. How do you take care of yourself when so much of you is
Lance would say I don't.
aha, okay. Do we need to bring him on bring him on now? We can all have a chat.
He will come in. He'll
Beloved
come in. He's
Lance.
gorgeous.
We know.
Love, I'd like to meet you.
Come
There
on,
are
Lance.
there are 81 people that'd like to meet you.
Phenomenal.
Mm.
Isn't it? It doesn't matter what you're
So
wearing.
here's my wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful husband.
Hello.
Hello, y'all.
How are you? We were just I was just asking Ruth how she takes care of herself, both through her, the some of the things she's excavating through her writing, but also through her
Hi,
activism
Lance.
and speaking out. And she said you would say she doesn't take she doesn't necessarily take care of herself. Would that be true and fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And she doesn't.
Yeah. But you're there to make sure she's got a soft
If
place to land.
I'm not going to repeat it, but you could ask Ruth my bottom line comment about her not doing as I asked her to do with the sickness. You
Mm.
ask Ruth you ask Ruth what I said.
What do you want to
What
say what
what
he
what's the
said?
question? What's the question?
I said, well, you
Marvelous.
go to death your own way, and walked away because I was so sick of bloody harping at her and
Yeah,
her taking
yeah.
no notice.
And look
And
at her just
most of the time she does that, but most of the time it doesn't matter. But
no.
when it's her life and her heart,
Yeah, that
she's
big
being
heart.
selfish if she doesn't consider me too. So I just, yeah. So
Wait,
no, she doesn't look after herself, but I do my best.
you do your best. Well, we're very grateful for you. We're grateful for both of you, Lance. And
Thank
I
you.
I particularly love in your story that there was a false start back when and that you found your way back together. It gives me, there's that saying, what's for you will never go by you. And sometimes that's not always great, but there are certain things, certain people, what's for you will never go by you. You are absolutely living embodiment of that. And it made me so happy to think about. Even if she drives you crazy. Well,
I
especially
love
since she
it. I
drives you
love it a
crazy.
bit, so I couldn't put up with her.
Can't live without. No, what a remarkable team. And you're so obviously infused in her stories. I don't have the dog one here. I'm too busy at the moment dealing with my own small demon puppy to to
Oh,
read
she
anything else.
pays, but always interested. Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah. I love that you
Absolutely.
care so much and that you also have a bottom line. Yeah, like that's it. You're a legend and so inspirational. I think you both have so you have a lot of fans, and I actually heard you say you don't necessarily like to call people like fans, the people who show up. But what is it like having, well, first of all, I think I was told that you're listed as like a not a national treasure, which you are though, like a tourist attraction, right? And so then you have tourist buses, like people showing up at your bookshops and at your home. What is that like for the two of you?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yet you have if I can, all the stuff that's written in these books, you have a steady stream of people. It's so casually, you're like X who was living with us for 3 months, or Y who was living with us for 6 months. And there was just people always coming through your house and living with you, partaking of your in and of your adventure. So it seems like you might actually quite enjoy some.
Some piece.
Yeah,
Some of it's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it is.
But
It's
yeah,
everything. Any adjective you throw out, they're all included.
Yeah. Oh, the letter they've just yeah, you were meant to be together eventually. They love someone Sue's just mentioned that she loves the letter you wrote about the mistress, I guess it kind of was the quit smoking
The
letter.
letter I wrote to you.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
tasting the other woman, well, the other kiss and the other yeah, it was very well done. But it didn't work, did it?
But he hasn't smoked for over a year.
Oh wow.
I
That
know.
deserves a clap
yeah.
as an ex-smoker.
It wounded me severely,
The letter or the quitting of the smoking?
both. No, the letter.
See, two, I've got two
Yeah.
on. Well done, everyone's
Woohoo! Well
saying,
done,
well
love.
done. So you can see that we've got people, lot, and I love that, you know what, Ruth, everyone just wants to hear your stories. And so we've had a heap of questions because everyone just is actually too busy listening, I think. Does anyone have, because we only have 8 minutes, oh my God, does anyone have a burning question that they want to
There's
ask you?
99 plus
Can
watching.
we, yeah,
That's incredible. I just want
yeah.
to thank you all for joining.
Yeah. Does anyone got something they desperately love to ask or say? What does Lance think of the mobile bookstore idea? We love it, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, I'm in.
Yay. It's awesome. As long as you promise to like be truly mobile and come to a lot of places, okay? Not just not just the South Island. Thank you for giving your evening up to chat with us here. Thank you both for that. We feel really blessed. Are you coming to the Auckland Writers Festival this year?
No,
No.
no,
Um,
because no, Abba's looking after me. I don't know how
yeah,
she does it, but she does.
the wonderfully named Eva, who is here tonight with us. Like, yes, there she is, right up the top. From Ellen and Unwin. Will you have a mobile bookshop dog? I think, I hope the answer
Well,
is yes.
we'd love to have another dog. But if we had a dog, a mobile bookshop dog would have to be a small dog.
Yeah,
Whereas we,
a mobile
you know,
dog.
like your little dog.
Yeah, well, you may be able to take her. She just, I'm
I
my
think
new
she's too
puppy.
young and energetic for us.
Yeah, you could borrow her for a while for sure because she's trying. There's teeth marks in one of these, by the way, because she got jealous that I was reading or doing some research. So, Augie, the mobile bookshop dog, I can see a story. I can see a story in that, and then I will have muscled into your life, and I'll
Oh,
be very
Arabella and I are
happy.
both here. Oh,
Ah,
fabulous.
I was the volunteer who looked after you last year in the backstage area.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing. That's amazing. Oh, what will you from Corey? What will you most, what will you miss most about the bookstores, the wee bookstores?
Bye.
Oh,
Bye,
bye,
love.
Lance. Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Uh, yeah, what
Um,
will you miss?
the the people, of course. The freedom to buy lots and lots of books,
Yeah,
saying that all for the bookshop.
yeah,
Um, and the conversations we have,
yeah.
the conversations are incredible. And the every day people will say, "Oh, have you read such and such?" And I haven't. So I write it down and I think you're another one on my list. Um, I've got piles of books beside my bed, but they come up with these really obscure books, and it's wonderful
Mm,
because you wouldn't have thought of them and you would never have read them. I'm reading a book at the moment that an
mm,
author sent me called um, Tree Revolution, and it's about the relationship between trees and people. He read
mm,
my book and he realized that I love trees,
mm,
and it's the craziest, most really interesting, um, all sorts of things, this book. But I would never have picked it up, even
mm.
though it's got a tree on the front with a person. And yeah, so that's what I like. I absolutely, I'm going to miss that, the
Well, but
people.
that's what it sounds like. That's what you do for, well, that is what you do for people, for other people. So it's good to know that you've got also people recommending you books or giving you books that they think
Yes.
that they're matchmaking you with a book. The Meaning of Trees
I've
might
read The
be
Meaning
another.
of Trees.
Yeah,
Yes. Most of her books are about powerful female characters. Oh, Kate
Kate
Quinn.
Quinn. Oh, we'll mark
See,
that
see.
down. See, and then don't know about others who are listening, but I've had a smile on my face for the last hour. It's been lovely to virtually meet you and lunch too. What a bonus. Absolutely. I'm going to do so, Ruth, there's something I do. I mean, this is only our second Libby reads, but we're starting a tradition. If you know the Proust questionnaire, that's the little parlor game that they used to play where they would ask, questions and get people who might not be so inclined to be open, get them to answer. So I want you to choose a number between 1 and 35, and whatever number you choose will be the Proust questionnaire question that I'll ask you. So any number between 1 and 35.
27.
27. See, because most of them have got nothing to do with books, but this one was, who are your favorite writers? No lie, that's number 27. So yeah,
Really?
it is right there. We can't, I'm not even going to try and show it. Who are your favorite writers?
Oh, I've got so many. Oh, Barbara Kingsford for one. Um, John Hall Jones, who is a historian who is absolutely fantastic. Um, oh God, there's so many. If I've got a library next door full of all my favorite authors.
Mhm.
There's 5 shelves of them.
Yeah, yeah. And are you someone that reads, if you love an author, you'll read their entire works, or do you sort of
Sometimes, like
dabble
Jenny
in and out?
Patrick.
Yeah,
Yes, do you have Jenny Patrick? I loved her work.
yeah.
It's really, yeah.
And then it's like
And
return.
I w was at an event with Jenny, and she is just an amazing lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. What a new message. So we're so glad we've had these lots of beautiful
Oh,
messages saying so glad had the chance to meet you now. So this is the part where we ask you to choose. It doesn't have to be a question, it could be a comment or where something that's either moved your caught your attention or heart while we've been chatting in the comments, and we'll be sending that person a signed copy of your book. So I don't know if there's
yes, I have read Sue Grafton. Yeah.
yeah, so if there's a comment in here or a question of something that you'd like to choose, that the person, so we can like we
How
can't send
can
everyone a signed copy.
how can I
You don't
choose
you don't have to, you know
some?
what? You don't actually have to if you don't want to. It's a I'm sure everyone would like a signed copy. We can't promise that for now, but um yeah, it's been a beautiful, and it doesn't surprise me at all. A love
I
fest.
haven't read Nell Dunn. I love listening. Oh,
Is
um,
Arabella.
Abba will be able to sort that out.
Yeah, we can do that. Thank you both. Such a cute conversation. You know what? I feel so lucky that I get to do something like this and meet you. I mean, I feel like I just want to say that yesterday I was having a bit of a day. I like got a virus and something happened and it involved maggots. Something I'm not very good at dealing with. And then I was like, what would Ruth do? I really did. And then I dealt with it. I did. And so then I was like, oh, she's in my head. She's my friend in my head. So now you get to be, my friend virtually and hopefully one day in person. So thank you. What would Ruth do? She would deal with it, not freak out about the maggots in her garage. So
Absolutely. Never freak out.
never freak out. Just or
So we've got, at the moment, we've got a pet spider in our kitchen. He's living, he's living in a skylight. His name is Wayne.
Wayne, how big? Because I'm an
Oh,
arachnophobe, but
he's
I'm
quite big
trying.
now because
Uh-huh.
every now and then he catches a blowfly. That's why he's up there. That's
Yeah,
his job. And
yeah,
he's getting quite big now because he catches quite a few blowflies.
yeah.
But I have somebody come and help me with my house cleaning once a week because I'm a terrible housekeeper. And I had to tell her, you're not to move Wayne's spider web because he's a
Wow.
friend, And she
He's
said,
a friend.
no, you can't have a friend as a spider up there.
But you can, and that helps me a little bit with my
Yeah.
arachnophobia. I'd probably still have to walk sideways around the beam, but I would respect the relationship, uh, and try and learn from it. I have,
You're all done. It's 90 in June.
well
Wow.
done. Of course not. That's Wayne's World. They say your kitchen is Wayne's World for
Yeah.
Friday. It is. Well, we are out of time. I don't know how that
Okay.
happened. That was Ngā mihi nui. Okay, the grandkids that the spiders have paid their rent, they can't be evicted. Thank you for your time. I love having hunters. One that makes my voice go funny. I love having hunter spiders in our house. Right, of course, that's fantastic. Um, thank you everybody who joined us and
From Ebba.
yeah.
Oh, bye from Abigail.
Thank you.
Oh, that was
Well,
beautiful.
I hope everyone it's 8:30 in most places. For some of you, it's earlier. I hope that everyone's about to go and do something nice and cozy with the when we did this last month, it was still light outside when we finished. So the seasons are definitely then I'm a sweater, so the
Yeah,
seasons are definitely
very
changing.
dark here.
Well, Ruth, I hope that I am sure many people will agree with this, that I hope for themselves, I hope I get to meet you in person one day and give you a big hug.
Okay.
And just
Hey, thank you so much.
thank
And
you.
I just want to thank all of you very sincerely for joining us tonight. It was fabulous. I just wished I had time to read all the questions.
Yeah, they're just at the moment it is lots of beautiful, everyone just loves you. And Lance, so he can
Aren't I lucky? Aren't I
use,
so lucky?
aren't we lucky? You have a
Yeah,
beautiful night, and we will see you
too.
again soon, and we'll see
Thank
the
you.
rest of you hopefully next month too. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
bye. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Good night. Bye.
Hmm.